Welcome to Speak Sex. I am your host, Eurydice. I am a Greek artist and writer of female sexuality from the island of Lesbos, where the lesbians come from. And I started this podcast a while ago because I want to help everyone speak freely, without guilt, without self-consciousness, with awareness and wisdom about sex. So it's literally speak sex to each other, learn how to negotiate sex before, take the verbal consent that we women have just gained for like the first time in written history, and go with it, sisters, so that you claim your sexuality for yourselves and you're no longer objects of the patriarchy. And that's why we're doing this. So I'm always looking for new articulations of sexuality that will help us change our consciousness of what it is, and not only unlearn what we learned in childhood, in church, in school, but embrace our truth and embrace our physical capacities, which are pretty limitless, and also which just last as long as we're here, and then poof. So thank you for listening. Thank you for trusting me as your sex whisperer here at Jolt Radio. My guest today is one of the perfect people for the podcast. Her name is Carrie Altman, and she's known as Vikerrious. She's an erotic performance artist, a dancer, an entertainment producer, a sexual wellness advocate. She has a degree in natural health with a background in the healing arts, and she has spent many years as a professional dominatrix as well as sexual performer, and she found healing for herself from her work. So welcome to the podcast, Carrie.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Me too.
And to meet you.
Yeah.
To connect with people that are like-minded.
Exactly.
Yeah. So nice.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for having this.
Yeah.
This is amazing. This is a goal for myself as well. I'd love to be talking about this and having more conversations around sexuality.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, come back.
Yeah. Oh, I'll definitely come back.
Yeah.
And I can introduce you to more people too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I would love that.
Grow the community.
I would love that. And one of the things that I'm working on, I did it actually with my birthday March 1st. So I did it with some of my girlfriends. Thank you. Belated. I did it with some of my girlfriends, and I love the energy of it. So I want to do it once a month, is to bring a group of us, like-minded women, to answer questions. I get a lot of questions through like email, texts, messages on Facebook, sex questions.
Yes.
So rather than just me drying and
I love
cut,
that idea.
right? Everybody chip in and make it alive.
Starting a conversation because everyone has these questions. If one person is asking, so many other people have the same question.
Right, and they're all like really women-based questions. You know who's asking, and you know what they're after. Permission.
Yes.
They're after permission to speak, freely.
Right.
To go back to their partner and just, say, well, this is legitimate. What I want is legitimate.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Give people power, put the power back.
Exactly. Yeah. And, even physically, through Instagram, which as much as we, talk shit about social media, it is amazing too.
It's so
that
good
we
for
get
us.
access to each other. Yeah. We find each other.
How would I even know about you?
Exactly. And like all I have to do, and this is, the beauty of what you do, is I have to look at you physically in those images, and I'm like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
I belong with that. I know that.
Yes.
Yeah, it's really wonderful.
That's amazing.
Yeah, this sense of like tribe.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And you can find each other that way, and there's been so much connection for me, like via social media, other people that like in the community. I wouldn't even have this. Who would I be talking to? Who would my audience be without the influence of social media? Really, honestly, it would be very hard to get this information
to find your people. So give me a little bit about your journey, where you began.
And
I'm
it's
sure
long.
there is a transformation. Right?
So my journey is very interesting. I actually grew up in a Southern Baptist family.
Oh my God, I love it
already. Okay, let's start
I love
there.
It already.
Religion is can teach you a lot of beautiful things.
True.
But I think that a lot of religion has it wrong. And they're not.
Well, it's got sex wrong.
Oh, for sure. It's definitely got sex wrong. For sure. So basically my background was like, I was taught that sex was wrong, that my sexuality is wrong.
Shame.
Everything shame. I actually started like workshops based on one of my first feelings of shame as an adolescent. Wow. And it was in my church. And somehow, some way, like the organization, the pastor, someone, not the pastor, but his staff. It was a huge church I went to, like one of these really evangelistic, big, huge churches with cameras on Sundays and, really big. So the staff called me a slut. And this got around to me. And it got around to my family because my family was involved in the church. And there came this formal apology from my pastor to my family, like in a meeting at my home one night, for this shameful conversation that people were having about me, and because of the way that I express myself in my clothing. Wow. Because I was always just a very expressive child. I was very creative. And
you were like fashion conscious.
Yeah. Like wanted to be really cool. And like I went to church, so I wanted to be really cool around my friends in church. So this was my first experience and kind of what led me here today, eventually. I didn't know that was going to happen at any point along the road. But basically that kind of set the tone for a lot of things in my life. Shame started after that and just kept continued.
It's backfired because look at you now. You did not obey.
No, I did not.
You went opposite way.
Definitely a rebel.
Yeah.
Definitely a rebel.
That's beautiful.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'm really grateful. I'm very grateful for where I am in my life and what I've overcome. There's been a lot of trauma to get me here. My journey started, I guess, like with that kind of shame in my family, but also like my mom was also very open-minded, even though her parents and this kind of like structure that I had as a child wasn't. She was like a child of the 60s, and I heard lots of stories as I was growing up about her freedom and how she found hers. So I could relate to my mother in certain ways. So it wasn't all bad. It was just, you're just things are shoved down your throat that are just so unreal and unrealistic. And when you're trying to figure out your sexuality as a young person, and I was just very free, organically, and I never really understood, like, my journey had me trying to figure out if I was straight or gay, because I was just always very attracted to everyone. And I kept putting labels on myself. I came out of the closet like 5 times and went back in. Like, meaning I would like, I'm going to date a female, then I'm going to date a guy. Oh, I'm gay. Oh, I'm not. I couldn't figure it out. And I'm like, I get it. I am not a soup can. I don't need a label.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah. I've only been screaming that my whole life.
You don't need a label, people.
No.
You don't need a label. Like, it's very important to understand that you're a human being and your sexuality is just as fluid as your life.
Exactly.
And just as many times as you change career, your sexuality can change that much.
Exactly.
And it's an exploration and a journey that you're on with yourself. And that's something that I had to figure out.
Not just career. Like, we change our mind about politics. We change our mind about like what car we like, what music we like.
What hair I want?
Yeah.
Do I want it long? Do I want it short? Do I want it black, blonde, white, red? I don't know.
Basically, that's the span of it.
Yeah.
You don't have like to take a stand for life.
No.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, that's why there's so many divorces, right? Like, you don't really take a stand for life. Like, you are consistently changing and growing and evolving forever. In your entire life, you're going to be 50 different people, hopefully.
Exactly.
Because you're going to stretch yourself that far.
Yeah.
You're going to find that many parts of yourself while you're here, And for me, that's what I really discovered, is that it's not this end result. It's a journey. It's a journey that I'm on with myself. And that's what, like, I'm really here to spread that message.
I love
that sexuality is just a journey. That everything is really okay within consent and within the confines of respect and honor of each other. And if you find your people, find the people that you can relate to and that make your sexuality so normal, because it is, and it took me a long time to really get there. I had so much shame and so much guilt, and I still have that like compass that wants to go back there, that wants to like revert me back to this place I don't belong, this place of shame and guilt. you know, because it's in my, you know, it's like when you're programmed as a child.
It's in your DNA. Like you got a few generations of these hardcore believers.
Yes, exactly. So it's a constant like learning of myself and unlearning of myself and letting go and just getting more comfortable and stretching my edges and being okay with where I find myself. Yeah. You know? And just, you know, having partners that understand and surrounding myself with friends that understand and people that respect the journey and can understand. And even if they don't understand it, can be open enough to like, wow, okay, that's cool. It's different. I've never even thought about that. Like that I can be so limitless in my sexuality.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So my background a little bit, like I'll take you on a journey with my career.
Okay.
So I started in, like, one of my first jobs was, like, in makeup in a day spa. And I started doing, like, skincare and wellness. And I had a mentor. And she was very much a dynamic part of my life. And she kind of showed me, like, this other part of, like, this spirituality without religion. And this, like, this healing. It was, like, a day spa, but way more. You know, people came there for healing. And she just was like, you're a healer. She would look at me all the time. She's like, I don't think you know this about yourself. She's like, but I want you to touch my clients. And she would teach me everything that she knew, like body work and energy work. And it's just something that I've been around since I was 15 years old. It was my very first job, and it took me into my first career of doing it. Like, I went into skincare. I was really gravitated towards that. And I wanted to go for like I didn't want to just go for a license. I went for a degree in natural health with a concentration in paramedical skincare so that I could work anywhere in like running a day spa, but also like work with plastic surgeons if I wanted to go more of the medical route. And I did both. I took that, I pushed that journey to all of its edges. And I lost my passion for it. I love doing skincare, but I don't really love the beauty industry because the beauty industry, a lot of parts of it are teaching people that they're not good enough.
Of course, yeah, they're part of the shaming,
they are.
Kind of like separating you from your hard-earned money, so you can please the stereotypical male gaze.
Exactly, and not even that, but
real
it's changing
male
your
gaze.
Own.
It's like the stereotypical. It's like the male gaze that this
you've been told
dominant. Exactly, the dominant.
Because that's not even it.
Says, it's not like this guy's gaze or no.
Men and women love so many different flavors.
Exactly.
Everyone has a place in this world.
Right.
Someone is attracted to you and exactly what you have to offer. And that's so true. The beauty industry just made me nauseous. Yeah. And it made me really, I'm very empathic. I feel people's energy and I couldn't stay in it. It was just something that I really had to get away from.
All the self-mutilation without the consciousness of it, without the ritual aspect.
Yes.
It's just being an object. And
right.
Yeah, I agree. And, it's something that I've thought about a lot. Of course, in some cases, like gender change, it's totally different. Yes,
exactly.
But, just to like put yourself through so much trauma to look a little more, I don't know even what normal is.
It's this like,
what is normal?
It's
a statistical
this ideal
term
of perfection, I think. It's this,
but there's no such thing.
I know. It doesn't exist. It's like it's propaganda. It's just what we've been fed all of our lives of this perfect image that doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. You are perfect. Right. What exists is that everything is perfect.
Right. It's just like extremely greedy capitalism.
Yeah, it is.
That's all it is, and their profit margins are bigger.
The beauty industry.
Beauty is a tiny sliver, right? They must narrow the ideal of physical perfection. The more money they'll get us to spend to reach it, because it's much more unlikely that we naturally look like that.
Exactly.
So, if it's like 0.1% of the population that they deem is attractive, then how much money do we have to spend to look whatever it is, thinner, taller, whiter,
exactly.
Nordic,
and there's different things
cheekbones,
and there's different in different cultures. Like when I went to Japan and visited Japan, it's like that culture is completely obsessed with bleaching their skin.
Yes,
and having
which I love.
Right? Too. We're all a little sick.
No, but like that's our decision. That's so clearly our decision because we were not raised like that at all. I was raised lie in the fucking sun.
Yes, I know.
And get melanoma.
Same. I was raised the same way, and look at me. I'm like transparent.
Exactly.
Or I try to be.
It was not about being pale. So that's our thing.
Yes, it's totally a personal thing.
Yeah. I got it from
skin. The skin is so beautiful.
I don't even know. I think it's mental. For me, all of my aesthetic choices are so mental.
Yes. I understand. And maybe
right?
I think that also it's a form of our expression. Mm-hmm. This is our outward expression, our creativity, how we want the world to see us.
Right.
And we get to kind of choose that.
Yeah.
This aesthetic for ourselves.
Yeah.
Which is really fun.
Yeah. But what I mean by mental expression is as simple as I will read a book and I will have a crush on that character, and then that character informs my aesthetic, for life. And I stand by that.
Wow.
So
that's so interesting.
Right.
Tell me more.
Yeah, isn't it?
I'm so interested in your brain right now. Yeah. That's fascinating.
I think so too.
Yeah.
But in any case, to go back to what you were saying, you left the self-mutilation industry.
Yes. I did, and there's still parts of it that I love, and I loved my career, and I loved what I was doing, and the help that I did bring to people was the aspect that I loved. And I helped a lot of people with skin problems feel better about themselves and to look better and to know how to take care of themselves, and nutritionally also, I helped people with their skin through their insides and their outsides, getting them on the good skincare routines and getting them in better eating habits and teaching them that what they're putting into their body is affecting their outward organ. The skin is the largest organ in the body, which also brings me to how much I know about the body, right? So this career that I took in the beauty industry taught me so much about people, how they are. I'm private. I have clients every day that would come to me for 8 hours. I would have 8 clients. And it would be 1 hour of one-on-one time with me and this person, of this very intimate contact of me touching your face. It's so beautiful. It's such beautiful work. And it's so intimate. And I found that I'm wow, this is really amazing. I would have clients drive to me for hours because I would be able to put them in the space. And I learned this about myself, which then translated later in my life when I quit my job in the mutilation industry. I actually began teaching aesthetics also. And I ended my career kind of working with Kaiser Career College. And I was running the paramedical aesthetic division of that school. And I wrote their curriculum and helped them write their programming. And I really loved teaching. So everything that I did in kind of my first career, now I'm doing again. In my third career, I guess. This is my third incarnation. My second career was I quit my job in an email to go live in an island and be a go-go dancer.
What island?
I love Turks and Caicos. I worked with Nikki Beach. I was working as a go-go dancer while I was teaching college. On the weekends, I would come to Miami from West Palm Beach, and I would stay with friends, and I would work on the weekends, and was living both of my passions, really getting this creative side of myself out. And this, I've always been a dancer. I was a dancer as a child. Very small, always in dance. So it's something that's in my DNA, it's in my blood, it's my passion, it's what I'm doing all the time anyway. So I needed to follow that first passion for a little while. And it took me very far. I've performed all over the US. I have performed in other countries. I performed when I went to Thailand. I've performed in every island. It's crazy. I never saw it taking me that far, but it really did. When you follow your heart, that's kind of what happens. Your heart is where you really should be driving the ship from.
I agree.
Your passion should be driving every part of your decision. And when your heart is in alignment, things just flow to you.
Yeah, you have to do what gives you joy.
Yeah, that's it.
To make money.
That's it.
Yep.
That's it. Everything else is pointless. You're wasting your life.
Yeah, otherwise it's it's
prison.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I mean, I think I call it immoral, but it's immoral toward yourself.
Torture. It's torture.
Yeah, because you're setting yourself out for what?
Then maybe we can
survival?
get into BDSM, and maybe this person is very sadistic with themselves.
Exactly.
It's fine. People are like that with themselves.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of people, So a
lot of high performing people who are not in touch with what they're doing. They've just happened to become better and better at it and very highly paid.
Yes.
That's why they resort to mostly masochism or submission or service or whatever, because they have no other way of letting go of that fucking power.
Exactly. And that's beautiful. It's good.
No, I agree.
At least they have a place.
At least they have a balance.
They got to have a place to put it. It's so important to have outlets, you know?
Agreed.
You hearing that, people? Find your outlets.
Yes.
Explore them. Find all the wildest corners of yourself. Push your edges and your limits. Find what helps you to set yourself free.
That's right.
Yeah. So
you go-go danced around the world, which is a very fun image. I don't know much about go-go dancers, but it's a fun image. You go-go danced your way around.
I'm such a great dancer, and it's so much fun for me. And I, not just that, but I worked very largely in the lesbian and gay community. And that is what really changed things for me. I started working with Pandora Events. Shout out Pandora Events. They are one of the most popular and well-known lesbian event company in South Florida, and they are doing events everywhere. They even have a large event that they do in Vegas. I've danced for them there. It was really fun. But it just showed me such a different world. You know, I was definitely gay for a while. I still am very much fluid in my sexuality, and I love everyone. But I think that it kind of gave me a different vision of a different reality. You know, I was working very predominantly with a gay community, and I felt myself finding myself, you know, and finding my people, and really feeling more supported. But also, I think that a lot of gay people feel like they need to put themselves into a box. And I was around a lot of people that felt like they needed a label, and they weren't very open. And I was finding it very difficult to kind of find people that I could be really just, I don't need a label. Yeah. Right? I want to be Carrie.
Well, I mean, it's not like the people, again, it's just the same thing as in church. I don't think it's the individuals.
No.
It's the authority, the system,
Right.
And I think that in the gay community, especially with the advent of AIDS, when people were dying and there was discriminated.
This strict line in the sand that they needed to. Yes.
Suddenly, I mean, everybody, I was super young then, but I already knew people who had been bi.
Yes.
Kind of self-identified as bi.
Now they're straight.
And they turned either way.
Straight, right, yeah.
Either
because
gay
they were
or straight.
Straight, right.
Because the straights wouldn't go with them. Because
that makes
if
so
they
much
were gay,
sense.
It was very hard to be bi.
Yeah, no, I
because
haven't even thought about this.
Everybody thought the bi person, guy or girl, is going to kill you.
Yeah.
Because they've been with the infected, right?
That's so
gay partner.
I was really young.
But
I do remember this.
The bisexual community, you know, and for a while, LGBT, there was zero B.
Yes.
Because people were paranoid.
Yeah. And for obvious reasons, because
and
this
then
propaganda,
the feminists, the whatever, is that the second wave? I think, the second wave feminists, were totally, again, I don't want to use the wrong word, but they were, let's say, looking down on, gay women who would somehow engage with men, so there was direct men hatred and men blame.
Yeah.
As if every single guy you meet, at a coffee shop is the paragon of patriarchy, and they're not. Guys are as fucked by the system as we are.
Everyone is.
Right.
And this is something actually that when I'm
so
teaching my workshops.
It made it very hard for women to be bi. So even if you were bi, it was very hard to do it in the open. I mean, how weird is that? That you would have to hide, you would have to hide that you're straight.
Right.
To be accepted by your sisters.
Yeah.
And the same thing with men.
It makes so
gay
much
men.
sense.
Yeah.
And I think also just because of the labeling and how we're in such a labeling society that you stick to this thing and you fought so hard to be gay.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
That now,
that
even
identity.
if you wanted to experiment with a man or a woman, you are going to feel I can't. Nope, I'm gay.
Yeah, you don't want to be a pariah. You don't want to have to, you don't even know the words. Speaking sex.
Yeah.
You don't know the right words to tell everybody so they'll accept you and be chill with it, right? You don't want to be judged. So we get back in those judgment places that you started with in church.
Yes.
After all the fights and all the struggles, and, to get your rights. So anyway, it's interesting. So you kind of like had your experience of being part in the lesbian community while you were dancing, which, by the way, I find, almost all the strippers or go-go dancers that I have talked to
have a story like this.
Lesbian experiences.
There's such a beautiful There's such a beautiful sisterhood that happens when you're surrounded by all these women when you're dancing in community.
Yeah.
So mine wasn't really like that. I think my curiosity started like I just didn't really have like a girlfriend, quote unquote, until I like kind of like fell into more of this lifestyle. But I was always kind of like in college. I had my first experience with a woman, and I just was like, shh. Actually, no, screw that. That was high school, Carrie. Yeah. High school. Maybe, no, second grade. Second grade, I was pulling the girls underneath the slide and making out with them and like always super flirty and affectionate with everyone. And I think this is something that I like to tell people also that, my sexuality is directly related to my innocence.
Yes,
this is
beautiful. Yes,
everyone's.
Exactly, everyone's.
Your sexuality comes from the first time you discover yourself. It's innocent. It's beautiful. You can remember the stupid shit you did as a kid just to find yourself, and you can laugh about it.
Yeah,
and it's beautiful.
And if you don't judge yourself, if you don't internalize that presumed, negative judgment, you don't have to turn perv, because you just keep evolving, and like you're saying, the fluidity prevents the extreme perversion.
Exactly. It really does. And that's another thing about being so open and having these conversations and how we need to have more of them. It's so important because it does help that. It helps you to just understand that it normalizes the conversation.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's so important because
it is
so normal.
If you're attracted to, like, let's say, children, the implication doesn't have to be, this is what I'm going to be, like a sick motherfucker until I die. It doesn't.
No.
And also the same thing about rape. A lot of rape, a lot of rape.
There are healthy ways to explore these perversions.
Exactly.
There are.
You just put it in quotes. That's all you have to do is put it in quotes.
Yes.
And say, we're going to play act the exact same thing. But once you put it in those quotes
and there's consent and it's playing also. Exactly. And I think that this is something and why there is so much of this, non-consensual activity going on, and like this invasion.
People don't know where to get the consensual.
They don't know. They just don't know. And they've been, all the shame and guilt has put them in a place where they think they can't explore some of these really weird things that they feel aroused by, which, guys, it's so normal to be aroused by weird things.
Yeah, by it's everything, so whatever.
Ever, all the time.
Yeah.
I'm stressed out, I'm aroused.
Oh, yeah. I used to always be like, why am I like masturbating so much more when I get sick?
Yeah.
It's so weird. It's like if I have a fever and there I'm at it. And it like makes no sense.
Because you're calming yourself, you're pleasuring yourself, you're making yourself feel better.
I don't know, but like what they say, that when a man gets hanged, the last thing that happens is he gets an erection.
On. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's just all part of how the body functions.
Yes.
There is no way of like putting it in a little box.
No. And I think that that's something that society has done to us too much. Put us in these little tiny boxes that we don't exist, and we're so much bigger than those boxes.
Right, exactly.
We're so much more creative.
And
we're genius brains.
I was thinking, the whole Weinstein type of sexual harassment, sexual abuse, date rape, whether or not there is consent is kind of like beside the point.
Right.
The power is so unfair.
Right.
Doesn't happen when you actually speak sex easily.
Exactly.
Because instead of like not talking about it and like sticking his hand places while he's talking business.
Yeah.
That would make no sense to us if we had a language of sex that we just spoke. So we'd be like, wait, are we entering sex space? You would have that capacity to just freely and without self-consciousness say, oh, wait, are we going like into sex play right now or are we doing business? But we can't as women because we don't know how to talk about it.
Right.
We don't know how to go from like 0.0, I love this drink, to, so what's your favorite fantasy, or what?
Yes.
How would you like to? Would you like to have sex with me right now?
Exactly.
You can't do that.
Right. because we've been told so much that we're not allowed and we're not sexual and that's slutty behavior and that we're total now we're just disrespecting you that you're a sexual being. Hello, excuse me, are you listening? I have the babies.
Exactly.
How am I not a sexual being?
Exactly.
I was created to have
sex.
children.
Right.
Also, back to anatomy.
To be sexed up.
Not back to anatomy. The clitoris is the only organ on a species that is only for one function, pleasure. So I was legitimately put here on this planet to experience pleasure and to give birth. And that is of my ideas and of children. Exactly. It's amazing.
I know. And without it, there's no species.
There's nothing.
Bye.
So how are we not speaking sex?
Exactly.
We're just selling it.
Yeah.
Or using it to sell your products.
That's right.
Like your car.
Yeah. Oh, totally.
The gas for your car.
Oh my God. I can't.
Or your dental insurance. Everything from the gas in your car to the dental insurance. They're using sex to sell. Yeah. And the female body.
Oh yeah. Everything. The female body is used just for that. Sell things, make money, make money off of it.
We're way more worth way more
desire. Than that. Make money of not the gratification of desire, of basically forever delayed
satisfaction,
temptation, but not gratification.
Exactly.
That's how they make the money.
Yes.
Look. You can have it, but look, you can look.
Yes.
Pay more money.
And
you can see.
You're never going to get it.
Right. You're never going to get it.
And that's terrible.
Yeah, especially if you're it. Like we are.
Yeah.
It's even worse.
Yeah, for sure. Cheers to that.
Cheers. Yeah.
So I think we got sidetracked from my story. I don't think I finished telling you that I went from traveling the world as a dancer.
Yeah.
To well, I started I guess the dancing with gays and lesbians kind of led me to performing with a drag troupe. Then I started like traveling all over the US and doing that. Then I started being so exposed to people with identity, like gender identity issue and like not identifying with their bodies and like really understanding this. And I'm very empathic. I feel people. I know this is real. People really struggle with this and just having this beautiful exposure to people that like have such a different reality than me. I'm just struggling with my sexuality. I can't imagine struggling with like fitting in my skin.
The body
and
you're in. Yeah.
All of that at the same time has got to be so difficult. And so then I started understanding there's so much gay visibility for me and there's so much trans visibility that I have in my DNA, and in my understanding. And then I start doing more performance art, less dancing. Then I start finding this other part of myself and I'm starting to do like a lot of performance art. And it's just organically, it's all erotic. All of my performance art is that. And I just found my sexual expression through that. And I've always been like, again, very exploratory in my sexuality. So I've always been dabbling in just weird shit. Like I want to go to that fetish party. Yeah. And I want to go to that kink party. And I want to learn everything. Yeah. I want to read all the books.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I want to just
drink
like, how does this tool work?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like you can't try it all. Toy and not know what it does. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Like
and how it feels on you, like using it or having used on you.
All of it.
Right.
Well, for me, because of some of the trauma, I explored my sexuality more through the dom perspective, and I didn't really like explore the submissive side of myself until recently, and that was a whole new world.
Yeah.
Okay, I had no idea.
Yeah.
We're just gonna like say this on radio to all of my fans that are listening.
Hey, it's good to be a switch.
It's the secret that you're about to find out that I'm really actually incredibly submissive. And I love that side of myself. And I found myself really there. Because exploring from one side, for me, being a dom was all about control. And the control comes from the trauma. And needing to be in control. Not allowing myself to actually be in my own pleasure. And finding that part of myself was a whole new world.
Once you find that trust, it's just, consciousness transforming.
Yes.
But you got to find that place of trust. Well, that's what's hard,
And that is
who you can trust to like hold stillness long enough to go through the catharsis.
And it is amazing.
You know,
catharsis is amazing.
For a top, it's hard to trust anyone.
Oh, it was probably the hardest feat of my entire existence. And I still haven't, I explored that part of myself at one point, but then there was trauma with my dom. So it just scarred me further. I am submissive and I do have trustful people, but I still have not been put in that place since, which is a beautiful place to be.
Yeah, it is a beautiful place.
It's so beautiful. It's meditation.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is.
It is elevated consciousness.
I agree.
It is elevation of consciousness. It is the there is a way through pain and breath and to put yourself in an elevated state of consciousness, and that is absolutely what being in subspace and catharsis is. It's incredible.
Yeah. It's like
it's
spiritual.
Completely leaving your mind.
It's religious without the bullshit.
Yes.
Like if you take the hierarchy, if you take the rules that were made later, but by the guys in charge, so like they could keep all the money and the property,
exactly,
right, and the power and the sex to themselves. Like the Vatican has the biggest erotic art collection in the world, and it's not open to the public. Has not been for thousands of years. They get to go in there and do whatever they do and look at it, but like. They collected everything to keep it away from the, from the people. So, but that's just like an example, right? So, if you take all that bullshit that they fed us, but they didn't practice, then it's religion. Yeah. That's all it is.
Yeah, true. Incredibly true. So, obviously you have a lot of experience there. I'm like having this conversation like it's normal.
It is. Yeah.
This is great. We need to have coffee. Let's go to dinner. I love this. It's so nice to find tribe.
Yeah.
That I can just this is a normal conversation that I'm having. So through all of this self-exploration, I found myself this is really my calling. This is my calling. This is my purpose. Everything up until this point makes sense.
Prepared you.
Oh, it nothing ever made sense until now. Now I'm like, holy shit. Guys, all the suffering, all the struggling, all of it makes sense. There comes a point in your life where it just matters. Where you just get it. It's like, oh my God, it was so weird. It was so weird for so long. Still am. But there's a reason. Now everybody's coming to me like, oh my God, what do I do with all of this? And now I know what to tell them. I have so much experience. I know what to give you, I know how to help you in certain realms, and I know how to help you push yourself. I know how to help you to be more comfortable in yourself, in your sexuality.
Right.
I can help you there. And that's so beautiful. To find where all of this trauma and this guilt and this shame and all this work and all this therapy and
God, I hate the fucking psychotherapy. May I just take a moment?
No, I love it. I think
that's another part of the patriarchy.
I went to a lot of therapy to find the right therapy. And I found there are beautiful therapists out there that are more spiritually gifted and guided.
Sure.
And
yes,
my therapist,
I just said psychotherapy, so I mean,
right? Yeah, very specific. Yeah. No, my therapist is amazing, and she's from New York and did this art erotica. Had this whole ongoing art erotic show in New York and still does it and is amazing. That's my therapist.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she's that's what you need to find. And there are sex therapists out there that want to help you explore your sexuality.
Exactly.
There is some really amazing therapy out there. But
there's a
I
lot
know
of amazing
there
therapy.
is some really terrible psychotherapy out there.
No,
that treats you like a textbook.
Alternative therapy is amazing.
Yes.
Hypnotherapy, I mean, all kinds of basically what I call more sacred therapy.
Same. That's the kind of therapy I've done.
Yeah.
I went to psychotherapy.
And I went to psychotherapy too, and they just wrote
it's
pills.
About the book.
They just gave me pills on the first visit. Everyone I ever went to, and they were like, "You have to go on this right away." I'm like, "Fuck you, man! I'm not medicating my beautiful mind."
Oh no!
So I it's like how they kept women on Valium forever, and it's like Xanax or it's whatever. It doesn't matter the name of the drug. It's just like
it's numbing
narcotize. Narcotize the bitch. And so she shuts up.
We are, in our truest nature, we are wild.
We are wild.
We're wild women. The book "Women Who Run with the Wolves."
Yeah. Yeah.
We are wild in our nature.
I haven't read that in
Right.
Forever.
Read it again.
We should read it again.
Yeah. If you women haven't read it out there, please read the book, Women Who Run with the Wolves. I just did an art project, a collaborative with two other artists based on that. That, you know, when we are our truest self, when we are in our wildest nature, when we answer the calling of our innate self, you know what is good for you. You know what you want, but you have to tap into yourself to find that.
Right.
You have to listen to yourself and shut out the noise, all this noise that you've been told forever and that people keep telling you. Listen to this noise.
Our wild nature, our wild nature is who we were before all that bullshit, before all those like lessons that just limit us and shrink us down.
And that's like our true nation, like attaches us to that intuition, the wisdom of like the ancient, taps you into that knowledge and that power. And I think for me, that's it. Tapping into my sacred sexuality is that for me.
Right, nice.
My wildest, truest nature, the place of myself that knows better, even though I've been told differently. Like, I know this space is beautiful and I'm going to keep exploring it.
That's lovely.
Yeah, I'm grateful.
Yeah.
I'm thankful. I don't know how I managed to get out of there.
By being so disobedient is how.
It's true. I was just a bad kid. Not really, though. I actually really was so good.
But like,
I was so good.
The lessons didn't take.
No, I was so good. I wanted to be so obedient for my parents, and I really was, and I was so good until like I really didn't lose my virginity until I was way older. I really wanted to wait until I was married because I wanted to have this respect in the relationship. I still believe in respect in relationships,
of course,
because it's about consent.
Yeah.
And then I got into this whole. There was a lot of disrespect, a lot of Me Too. We don't have to go there. I don't need to go there, but Me Too. You know, there's a lot of trauma and a lot of experiences for me that were really disrespectful. I did not know how to say no.
Me too.
I had to go to therapy to learn how. I really didn't. I was such a yes girl, and I thought it was what I was supposed to be doing, which is so strange.
Because they separate us from our body. It's that whole split, right? That the church does between your sense of self, your soul.
Yes.
And your body, your trashy body. So the body, which they use to like advertise everything, is not who you truly are in your higher self.
Right.
So you're thinking like, okay, so this worthless body, maybe if I like give it away, it will fix the situation without conflict, and I'll move on. And you don't even understand that's like this is you,
yours.
That's all you are is this body inside this body, right?
Yes.
But they make us like disregard it, disrespect it, devalue it.
Yes.
So that's why we can't say no.
Virginity.
That's why we can't say no.
Yeah. But also we're giving away virginity. This is what we're teaching our youth. This is what we talk about, what sex is. You're losing something.
I know.
What am I losing?
I know.
When I discovered my sexuality, I gained so much knowledge of myself. And that's what we need to be teaching everyone and our children. That the relationship of sexuality is a relationship that you have with yourself, with your body, and it is something that you share with other people and other bodies.
Right.
It's a relationship with you. When I started discovering that, I'm like, oh, how come nobody taught me that? But this is something I already knew. I was like very much masturbating at a very young age and like knew all of this self-discovery because it was just with me, right? Like it could be private and I didn't have to tell anybody, but I was always this person,
me too.
Like really exploring with my
and
friends,
luckily,
my girlfriends.
I didn't ever like bleed, so I didn't tell the first guy I slept with that he was the first. I acted like I knew everything because I didn't want to give any power away.
Yes.
And nothing showed. Yes. I don't know what happened. I was like, oh, it's God.
Yeah.
I lost it to God. I didn't even wear tampons. I don't know what, but it was wonderful.
Yeah. Horse,
so
running,
I didn't have to have that experience of like, I lost something to a man, which is just, it's bullshit. Like it could be your period. It could be anything. Yeah.
Exactly.
We should not make a big thing out of it.
So thankful that we're in this time. You want me to tell you about some toys?
I want you to tell us. Well, I want you to tell us about dominating. So dominating is part of your professional work, right?
Yes. So I do less of this now. I've kind of transitioned more into doing more of the healing work, but I still do. I think it's the same. I found my healing in this work. I found my healing in these spaces. I pushed the envelope and allowed people that I trusted to kind of break me in places where I felt abuse before. Right? Maybe I was abused, right? And when you have this abuse, then there's this like trigger to your brain that it's like bad, it's terrible, it's awful, right? And it's like trauma.
Yeah, but then when you hold the trauma abused, in that part of your body as well as the brain.
Absolutely. Your brain, there's like triggers there. And then there's also, you hold this trauma in your body.
In the body part.
So when you are, experiencing consensual, like painful pleasure, and you're putting yourself in this place where you're like, okay, well, I know I'm not really going to get hurt. And then there's this aftercare afterwards. And it's like you're reprogramming your brain and your body.
Yeah.
It changes your neural pathways to now understand that like the beating isn't necessarily
right.
Yeah, I'm getting beaten, but now there's all this love and this joy, and it's just sensations that I'm experiencing in the body, and it's endorphins rushing and all these hormones rising, and my pain triggers are coming in, and now they're healing the body, and there's so many things happening, and now there's all this love afterwards,
right?
Instead of this other thing. So
right, exactly. You turn it around, and that's what you have to do with most of the things that hurt you as a child.
Absolutely.
Because also our brain, when we're like 2 or 5 years old or 8 years old, doesn't know much, right? It has very narrow reference points, and its only job is to protect us from pain. So if it registers anything as pain, it will avoid it and it will run from it, but it could very likely be also wrong.
For sure.
Right?
Yeah.
So all of that has to be somehow revisited by consciousness.
Yeah.
By experiencing it again in conscious space, in safe space, in play.
Yeah, for sure.
In quotes, like we were saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you did the work. You had clients, and
through that I just found
you found your own healing.
But
and
so
then
many
became
other,
a healer.
Yes, everybody that comes in, it's like they think they're just coming to get this joyful experience, right? But I've learned so much about this kind of work, fetish work, sex workers, how maternal we are as women, how these men need these people. Sex workers are really important. It's crazy. Their work is really beautiful. And a lot of
countries, like, is this like the only Western civilized country that makes it illegal?
Ridiculous.
I think it is.
It's crazy. It's the oldest profession in the book.
I know.
Wake up.
In my country, they have unions.
It's happening anyway. Yes.
And it's so much healthier because also they get like checked up regularly.
We're
they
pushing
have
for
their
this.
rights. If someone is abusive, they go to the union.
Yes.
Right? They pay
in New York,
dues.
it's way more like, progressive, and like there's there's a lot of like people pushing for these like rights for sex workers, and there are organizations that are helping
right.
In these bigger cities. Miami is really conservative.
Yeah.
We live in a very conservative city. There's such an influx of Latin culture here, and there's so much repression here still, even though we're like this tourist attraction that is like beaming about sex, and we have one of the highest HIV rates in the U.S., which is insane, but we still are super repressed as a culture here.
True.
So it's been like
a macho culture.
It is a macho. That's a good way to put it. It is a macho culture. I would agree with that mentality, like the bikini babes and like macho,
and it's not just the Latins. It's what happens is a lot of immigrant, cultures and communities are, more isolated, right? More conservative, and so they have those gender tropes,
right?
Much stronger. So, like, whether it's like the Russian and other ex-Soviet communities, or whether it's like the Jewish communities, especially the religious ones, or we have a lot of immigrant cultures that are highly represented in different areas. The Haitian community, but they are definitely all of them conservative, and they gotta, we're working with it. We're working our way through them.
Doing what we can.
But it's like a lot of hard work.
It is a lot of hard work, but it's like I finally can see the light. I'm not like shoved in the dungeon or the basement anymore. Talking
we're
about
like
this stuff.
sexual moles, and we're like opening our way.
Okay.
We're opening the tunnels.
Where can I find the pathway here?
Yeah.
I read this quote the other day that was really good. It was something about healers are not like, they weren't like birthed from light to like, show you this, that no, we come from this dark trauma, to be healers, to show you the light. We come from our own experience of finding the light and like searching for the healing.
Yeah.
Coming
out of shadow
the darkness
into light.
Light.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
And that's what, that's what this is. This is what like bringing this sexual sex positive awareness is. It's healing work.
Yeah.
It is the work that is so necessary.
How do you do the awareness? How do you practically?
So me, this is pretty much other than like erotic performance art, this is pretty much my full-time job with doing this. I push myself that way. Okay. I kind of push myself in a way where this is what I'm doing.
Good.
And I'm going to make it happen.
Okay.
I'm going to make it work because I believe in this work so much. I believe that it is that important. So
it is.
Yeah. So I teach workshops. Right now I'm teaching one a month. The next workshop I'm having is going to be next week. It's Wednesday the 20th, and it's all about pleasure. I usually
where do you
I do these in people's homes. I try to like have a friend's home that has a really nice home. If they have like a big, because I like creating community, opening like a private, intimate space to have these conversations in a living room that's like, but also like what's really in a space that's like sexy. You know, I'm like getting nice homes in Miami on the water. You know, we're having this experience.
We have so many
nice homes here.
Yeah.
So hopefully, like having a beautiful home. We have these. We have cocktails. Loosen up a little bit, and I'm gonna have. It's gonna be a topic every month, and I'm doing it on a Wednesday, and I'm calling it the Hump Day Soiree.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, so we're having a little get together for an hour of mingling before, and then we start it starts at 7, but we usually start the conversation around 8, gets people a chance to get there because Miami, we're always never on time. We're on Cuban time here. Yeah. So we usually start everything at 8. And then between 8 and 10 o'clock, it's the discussion and maybe a demo. Last one we did Sensual Domination 101, and that's kind of like more my forte. I am a sensual dominant. Like I am very sensual in my pursuits. I can get a little bit more aggressive if the moment calls for it. If you're being a very bad girl or boy. But other than that, I tend to keep it really sensual. I like tapping into my sensuality to kind of like bring you pleasure. So that's what I taught. I taught the workshop on that, the last one. So we did a demonstration.
How do people find your workshops, your Wednesday classes?
So mostly Instagram, if you want to find me on Instagram.
Sweet. Okay.
Instagram, Facebook. I have my own Facebook page. Everything is Vikerrious. I have my own website.
Yeah, we'll link on our...
Yeah, so it's Vikerrious.com, Vikerrious, Facebook, all of that. Yeah. So it's very easy to find me.
Okay, sweet.
The workshops are really fun. It's starting more community, more conversations about sex, teaching you something new. So this one's on pleasure. And it's going to be about self-pleasure, partnered pleasure, or just how to bring more pleasure and how to allow more pleasure into your life.
Nice, sweet.
So, and also domination. I do take privates. I do sessions.
Right, I assume. Yeah.
I do sessions. I also do kink tantra sessions. So this is more blending my BDSM and kink with more healing work and energy work to kind of like bring you relaxation, bring you pleasure, but also hopefully open you up more.
Yeah, I love kink tantra. Love it. And I must say that there is such a misconception about tantra in the general population.
Yes.
You know, I mean, originally no one knew about tantra, and the few like yogis and esoteric students who knew about it, like had Master Chia books. I mean, they understood how complicated it is, and how much self-mastery is involved, and basically that you never attain it as a Westerner.
Yes, exactly.
Because you need like a lifetime with a master of practice.
Exactly.
But they understood, and practicing it, that type of tantra, was like hard work, much harder than yoga as we know it.
Yes, for sure.
But then, as with everything in America, once it enters American awareness, then it becomes money-making and co-opted. And so now everybody does tantra, and it doesn't matter if they just like touch your nose, if they say it's a tantric touch.
Right.
It goes. Yeah. And like, I don't know, they'll do a little like Madonna-inspired chant.
Right.
So I just want to say, that's not tantra.
No.
Tantra is like really, self-control through breath.
Yes.
Through holding space.
Yes.
Which you learn in BDSM.
Yes.
Good practice, right? So kinky tantra to me makes a lot of sense because the kink helps you get to the tantra.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. It helps you to like hold breath, space, awareness. also, like, with the kink part, like how to shut up. How to stop different senses.
Stop your mind, stop your hearing, the distractions.
Turning off one sense, turning on the other one. Learning how to focus energy into body parts, into certain senses. It's really great work.
Yes, it is. I agree. So we have like a couple of minutes left. Okay. I want to go through the tools or toys.
For the life of me right now, my brain
I love this little pouch.
Oh, this is cute. Everything's just
tiny
cute
little
and
pouch
black.
that fits everything.
Right. So I want to talk about these first. So these are just clothespins, but they're black.
Yeah. And matte.
So and
matte,
hot. Black, and sexy.
Yes.
But basically, these can be used. People use these as nipple clamps. You can use these on labia. You can use these on scrotum, on anything, really, any body part. But basically what I really like using is just really creating it on any part of the body, maybe like a sensitive part, like the calf, knees, thighs, your chest, and creating kind of like this line. Can I just use your arm?
Yeah.
I'm going to just...
This is a little softer, right?
So you're just going to create this like little line of them on the skin. And what it does is now we've created like this little connection, and like... maybe not necessarily your wrist is not erotic, but if you're like experiencing pleasure and pain play and you're kind of like blindfolded in a space, and I put these all over your body, and then I'm just using this little whip to kind of like smack them off of you, it's creating this like pleasurable pinching sensation, right?
Yes.
It's so nice.
Yeah,
it's such a nice sensation, and this is just again, this is sexuality.
So you brought us the clothespins, but sexy ones. And you brought a whip that is very portable and lightweight.
It's very
Is
lightweight.
that rubber?
It's rubber.
It hurts.
It's a very stingy one.
Yeah.
So I brought one that has more control. So this is my favorite. This is my tool. If anyone that really knows me knows that you're gonna get fucked up with this.
Yeah.
This is called a riding crop.
Riding crop. Yes. It's the real thing.
Like 50 million in my lifetime. I need to be sponsored by a riding crop company. Anybody out there listening?
You do.
I'm letting you know that I break these things like crazy.
We have to like find the dental. I was gonna say, why did they say dental dam? Anyway, riding crop.
We have to find the riding crop.
The biggest riding crop maker.
Yeah, that can like support the vicarious use of this toy.
Yeah.
But anyway, a lot of my you can be really controlled with this one.
Yes.
So this is more like controllable. You can go very hard with this. You can go really soft with this. You can. This is why I like it.
Yeah. What you just did in the palm, by the way, is how we were disciplined in elementary school.
With the ruler. And this can also be playful. You can bring back again
all of that.
You can make your.
You can like take charge of those memories.
Yes, for sure. You can keep them. More special to you now, and like change those pathways.
When I was like when I identified as a dom, I used to think that's why I became smart, because I was the only kid in the class who never got the ruler. And then I thought, it's because I just had such authority issues. I would not let that teacher
ever
get the power on me, no matter how much I had to study.
So you were so obedient.
I knew every answer. But it worked only on me because like I would not be ruled.
Yeah, of course.
And it was interesting that the boys, one after the other, the boys would go and put out a hand and get just like whacked. I didn't know if they like wanted to show that it didn't really hurt.
Yeah,
exactly. It hurt. They were like
they were
red. You could see it hurt.
They were being like, they wanted to be like tough in front of you, showing off.
Yeah.
And then
so
also
riding crop, little wave, clothespins.
And then
there's a little instrument, roller, skin crawling roller.
I can't remember the name. It's evading
it
my
looks
brain.
Like a little bit like what cats do.
Something wheel.
But
anyone in
BDSM
kink is gonna spank me for not knowing the name of this.
Right. It's a really nice wheel.
It's used
that
in
wakes
doctors'
up your
offices.
skin.
This is a medical device. It is used in doctors' offices underneath your feet to test your reflexes. So people in the land, help me out.
They will in a second.
I'll give myself 50 lashes later for not knowing this. But this is amazing, and you can puncture skin with this, so you have to be very careful. Right. Or if you are doing blood play, this is a good toy to use for that.
I love it because it wakes you up at the level, like the cellular level, basically. So it's really nice. It helps you discover what's happening in your body. I use
this in my kink tantra sessions, and I've heard from some of my my clients, they really like it. Yeah. Because it's like you're almost putting me in that very uncomfortable place, and then you're so soothing to me also. Right. It's like, again, like these triggers that you're so, it's taking them and changing them a little. Right, you're exactly. Like, oh, I didn't know if I was going to be able to handle that. And then suddenly
roller coaster.
It is. Yeah.
Okay.
And then this one, I
think.
So
this is like the Mary Poppins bag. Of BDSM, because things keep coming out. And it's a tiny little pouch.
Tiny. It's like your little pencil pouch from high school.
It looks like it only fits an iPhone, but it fits like every every toy.
It's my Mary Poppins bag of kink.
That's how you travel.
So this is
that's how like you go to the ladies' room.
Excuse me. I'll be right back. Yeah. I just got to get something out of my bag.
Session.
Would you like something out of here? Maybe. Okay, this is like a claw. This one.
I love the look of that.
This looks kind of like a ring.
Yeah, you wear it on your finger.
You wear it on your finger, but it's looks like like a knuckle ring, but then it's got two spikes coming out of it. So this, again, you can use for blood play, and it does puncture skin, but you can also just use it to cause sensation and be really gentle. But then when someone's like being played with this, they don't know what you have on them. They're like, is that a knife? Then their brain is going everywhere.
Yeah, that's like, nice. If they're blindfolded, it's really nice. Yeah.
Or if it's dark in the
back,
room, or it's right. They don't know what you're using. They haven't seen the tool. It's really fun.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, that's really
but it's
nice.
so nice.
The mind games are really nice.
And then this one. Wow. This actually I won a contest
I love
on
the
Instagram.
Size of these toys.
This is not a kink toy. This is by Lilo, the company. This is a partner toy, and it's a vibrator. But this I really like. I like these partner toys that they're coming out with. So this is actually an intervaginal part. This would go inside of you, and this would clip on top of the female pubic mound. So then the man can still penetrate, or you can use toys underneath this.
Oh, interesting.
So it can be a personal toy that you can use several different ways, a partner toy that you can use several different ways. Yeah. And a lot of the toy companies are doing this now.
And it's gorgeous. Making really it's black and matte, and it has a little touch of bronze.
This is the Amber Rose Lilo. Oh. Something. I can't remember the name of it. Hold on, I think I have the label.
Yeah, there must be a name. I was going
name in here. What is your name?
It's lovely. And what is that? And what does that do?
So this part, the palm part, there's like a little handheld control, remote control, and this can actually be used on you. It vibrates. So the remote control you can use on yourself if you're using this on someone.
Wow.
So you can use this that way, but also I think this one has an app where you can like download the app and you can what is this called? I don't know the name of this.
It should be there.
No, it's not.
I love it. It's so beautiful and minimalistic. And
you can go on their website and find it, though. It's an Amber Rose.
Lilo.
Yeah, Lilo. And there's the Amber Rose edition of this toy.
Gorgeously designed.
It's similar to, there's another toy company that makes something similar called the We Vibe. So it's similar to
the weight of the thing. Yeah, it's very lightweight.
It's very lightweight.
Yeah, and just pretty. It's pretty, and you can definitely keep that in your little bag. In your
and this can go on the airplane.
Tiny black purse. Yeah.
Yeah, I should have worn. There's another necklace that I wear often that is a vibrator.
Oh,
and
nice.
It is TSA approved, and I'll just go ahead and shout them out. They're a toy company called Vesper. No, this is called Crave. The company is Crave, and the product, the necklace, is called the Vesper, and it's TSA approved. You can wear this in the airport, going through security. It's sleek, it looks beautiful, and it is literally my favorite vibrator.
Wow, of course.
It's like the one that I have all the time. It's so strong and so powerful, and you recharge it like super easy with USB. Yeah, and it's super portable, and you're not messing with batteries like in other ones.
Yeah, and like giant silicone penises.
Yeah, these are like way more compact and easier to travel with.
Yeah, and harder to identify.
Yeah.
Like when you see these on the aeroplane, you could take it for pretty much anything.
That can be just a handheld massager. Literally, it is. Yeah. This is a vibrating massager.
Yeah, you can also
use it on
the neck.
Right. In the airplane.
Yeah.
So you can really take this on the plane.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, awesome. That's wonderful. Thank you. I think that was like really useful advice. So thank you for bringing them.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Doing a little hands-on.
Why not? A little hands-on, but you can't see it. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, they can see it if they're on Facebook.
Oh,
so
yeah.
that's good. Yeah. Okay, well, thank you. I mean, you have to come back.
I do.
You can see now that we could just keep going.
For like 77 hours, we could talk about sex.
Yeah.
And all of the joy that we get out of it and talking about it and how much more amazing it needs to be in conversations.
Yeah. You'll come back. And I may just come to one of your sessions and
I'd love that.
Do a podcast.
Oh, that would be great.
Yeah,
I would love that.
Nice.
That would be really fun. Let's do that for sure.
Yeah, I would love that.
Yeah.
Well,
Awesome.
so thank you. Thank you for coming.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Check out Vikerrious on all social media.
Yes.
And thank you for listening. Thank you for trusting me as your sex whisperer here on Jolt Radio. I'll be back very soon. And if you don't hear the next hour, just speak sex. Ciao.
Space safe, designed in